Welcome to episode 3 of Thoughts from the Warmaster. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my feelings on Warmaster. There was an interview I did at the 25th anniversary event. If I'm being honest, the interview felt a little bit contrived and a little bit like just kind of like a way to get me on the record saying stuff. Not that my kind of opinion really should count for very much, because at the end of the day, even though I've got a ceremonial duty or a kind of like, I don't know, like it is a leadership role. Of course it is, to be like the chair of the committee. It is only the chair. I don't have any more influence than anybody else on the committee. Just there to kind of keep things flowing and keep things in order and kind of prompt discussions if that's needed. When we were in Stirling, Jan asked me on the Saturday night if I wouldn't mind talking. And I thought, oh, you want to interview me and Paul? And he said, oh, yeah, we can talk to Paul as well if you want. And my spider sense should have already been tingling. But anyway, with a massive hangover on Monday morning, I got down to breakfast. And he came over and we sat. And he asked us an introductory question about how we thought the event was. And obviously, we talked about, me and Paul talked about how impressed we were with the event and how it was probably the best event we'd been to, etc. And then almost instantly, once the pleasantries were out of the way, we got the two real questions. Basically, I did a similar thing with Rick years ago during the COVID times, and I asked Rick a series of questions which were basically all around trying to get him on record talking about Leadership 10. So it's not something I'm not akin to, but yeah. So it's something I'm aware of. People can do leading questions, kind of contrived interviews to get the answer you want. I'm not saying that's what I did with Rick, but I certainly made sure I asked the question I wanted to ask. So the first question was around, is Warmaster a tournament game? Now, I've gone on record many times. So I don't. Maybe it was just because it was going to get translated into a different language that it was important that I put it on that record. But any game, absolutely fucking any game, can be played as a tournament game. Whether or not a tournament game has got nothing to do with the game. You can play Scrabble as a tournament game. You can play bloody Gin Rummy as a tournament game. You can play bloody Tiddlywinks as a tournament game. People play all kinds of games as a tournament game. My point was, should Warmaster be a tournament game? Should our focus be tournament? Or should we allow the game to kind of exist and that tournament packs can do whatever they want? I mean, literally whatever they want. I don't go on Facebook very much, but I went on there yesterday, and I saw there was a weekend event. Now, I couldn't do a weekend event on the back of more than a weekend event the weekend before, but there was a weekend event went this weekend, and there was a list in there called The Lost and the Damned. Now, I've got very limited understanding of fluff, but as far as I knew, that's a 40k list. So maybe there's some kind of crossover, like Space Dwarves or some shit, I don't know. But there's a Lost and the Damned list. I mean, it came last, which is good news. But I mean, that tournament advisor, he didn't come and seek the fucking committee's permission as to whether or not he could allow Space Dwarves. I mean, when the king is dead, which everybody knows on record that I think is an abomination of a fucking rule, but nobody came and asked the committee, can we put this in the fucking tournament? Of course not. The rule set needs to be, I don't want to use the word vanilla, but it kind of needs to be the kind of vanilla baseline, your blank canvas, your sandbox, and then all the stuff that you want to fucking load in with the tournament. You want to do it your way. With the John Bracebury's campaign system, it's a completely different way of thinking about the game. I mean, the game's only 500 points. Things score differently. Your break works differently. Is that something you should even contemplate bringing into the rulebook? I've had said no. That is the perfect opportunity to do, you like Burger King say, you want it your way, you've got it. All you need is a working set of rules to fall back on, and changes made to those rules if stuff needs bringing in. Like the change for the High Elves. I think this, I said at the time that the High Elf changed, restricting them to 3 silver helms. And people wanted to go further than that, and I said, like, personally, 3's enough. I mean, you're already cutting. I've got 11, 12 units of silver helms. I'm not crying for me, but people do have lists that they will no longer be able to run the way they wanted to. But once we went down that road of limiting silver helms, it was inevitable that then we were going to have to limit other things. You can't have 6 silver helms facing off a dozen fucking Empire Knights. because they're the same unit type. And apart from the one less command on one character, I mean, they've got a movement spell that kind of counters for that. So, I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference? Unless you're going to rely on, oh, well, we'll rely on the kind of, let's say we're playing the tournament, we'll rely on the tournament providing enough scenery and providing objectives that are in scenery, etc., 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 to make cavalry less effective in game. Because if you're fighting on an open fucking plain, all you need is cavalry. Nothing can stand up to heavy knights on an open field. The only thing that can stand up to fucking knights is other knights on the other side, and whoever gets the fucking charge off. The point is that I think less is more. And I've said this, and we're getting to the point where we don't want to start changing shit for the sake of changing shit. And I thought that when we moved on against the Knights, the Silver Helms, that it was probably the right decision. I mean, the committee voted for it, so it was the right decision in the eyes of the committee, but it's not like we've got a 100% record. There's at least 2 occasions where we've had to retract on a change we've made the following year. What I would say is that's probably going to mean that we now have to look at Knights more broadly. And yes, that brings in a lot of other complications because they're, oh, yeah, what about Bretonians? Oh, what about this? What about that? Yeah, it's all there. It's all there. It's all going to have to be looked at, isn't it, in the round? But that's the road we've chosen to go down. And I haven't seen anybody say that we should reverse that decision. If you do believe we should reverse that decision, put it on record. Talk to your committee member. Put it in the YouTube comments here. Go to the experimental forum. Make your voice known. This kind of spirals into the second question, which was around the vintage car question. It's like, should Warmaster, and this wasn't my analogy, this was Alish, the guy who actually wrote the book's analogy. He said he saw Warmaster as like a vintage car. And vintage cars are cool, man, but they can be a bit temperamental. And you obviously, if you could, you wouldn't build them the same now because maybe they'd be fucking electric or something, and they wouldn't have any gears, so you wouldn't have any of that to go wrong. But they have a certain feel and a certain an enjoyability of being a vintage car. Now, I reckon some of the things I like most about Warmaster are the kind of way Rick wrote it. And it wasn't perfect, and he's very wordy, but I enjoy that. And he's quite irreverent, if that's the right word, and funny, and he tries to be witty, and he doesn't take it too seriously. And I like all that. So I'm with Alish. I'm 100%. Yes, Warmaster can be a tournament game, but at its heart, it shouldn't make itself a tournament game. It should be a game that can handle tournaments. And those tournaments should bring in whatever fucking comp rules they want, whatever testing they want to do, whatever they want to do. It's their tournament, do it their way. But the core rules need to be strong enough to deal with that. And yes, it is a vintage car. And I'm not afraid of saying that. I've said before. I mean, the push to keywording, I kind of understand it in the same way as all units should be Lego bricks and they should be the same. I understand that, but we're in an imperfect world. And I think, even in that imperfect world, Warmaster is pretty good. And if you don't believe it's pretty good, then I don't know what I can do to convince you it's pretty good. Maybe you should play more games and see that the game actually holds up in the vast majority of instances. To the vast majority, to all the punishment you can put at it. Yeah, I don't know why I felt the need to do this. I've got an operation this week, so just in case something goes wrong, I'm not fucking planning on it going wrong. But it is a general anaesthetic, and there's always a theoretical chance. It's like flying, isn't it? It's all fine until it's not. So if something does go wrong, at least you got me in a record of my thoughts and feelings. And long live Warmaster and Ogres forever.